Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. My name is Not So Superman, and today we're going to be talking about my truck.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna...
Alright, so, as of right now, I'm 23 years old, and I have a fully paid off vehicle. But I got this truck when I was 21, and I was able to pay it off fully as soon as I got it. No monthly payments, nothing like that, and I'm able to cover everything. And today I'm going to share with you how I was able to do that and help you maybe get your own vehicle or something that you've been wanting and learn how to do it. The first thing that you need to know is you need to know how to save money. Meaning, a lot of people, especially younger people, people my age, we'll get our first job and it's our first source of income, and you tend to go out, and as soon as you get your paycheck you want to spend it all because this is the first time you're getting a real source of money, first time you actually have money in your bank account. You want to go out, you want to party with your friends, you want to buy food, you want to buy simple little things, simple little pleasures. But in order to get things like your own vehicle, in order to get things like your own house, you need to understand that you need to save money, and you have to forego some pleasures in order to receive bigger ones in the future. So what I did, essentially, as soon as I came into the Marine Corps, which was my first real job, and I'm not counting Taco Bell that I worked at when I was in high school, but even then, I managed to save up money and save up enough to get my first vehicle, but my mother helped me out a lot with that. Now, when I got into the Marine Corps, I knew that I wanted to get out with a vehicle and money in the bank, right? And I don't mean a vehicle that I'm making payments on. I mean, I wanted to go in and buy a car or a truck and own it. Not essentially make payments on it, not rent it. I wanted to have a vehicle that is fully in my name and fully paid off. How did I do that? So, the entire time I was in the Marine Corps, I was very, very careful with how I spent my money. I only spent money on what I needed, and I never bought little things that I wanted that I didn't need. Now, keep in mind, the best way to save money is once you get your paycheck. This is a very wise quote. I forget who said it, but the quote goes that you shouldn't spend what you have, you shouldn't save what you have left after spending. You should spend what you have left after saving. Meaning, as soon as you get your paycheck, you put the bulk of it into your savings account, you calculate what you need for your bills, your monthly expenditures, save the rest. Only spend on exactly what you need to spend. Give yourself no more than about $200, $300 of play money, so you call it. And even that is a generous amount. And what I mean by play money is that $200, $300 can go towards whatever. You've calculated exactly how much you need for your phone bill, for whatever other bills you're paying. The rest of the money you put in the savings account, and then you leave a little bit for yourself to spend and have fun with, and you make that work. Now, how do you do that? So, as soon as you get your paycheck, the first thing you need to do is figure out exactly how much you spend every single month on consistent payments. Any bills that you have, go ahead and calculate those. Calculate food because you need to eat. Calculate gas, insurance, whatever you have that is a recurring payment. As soon as you get your paycheck, calculate it, get it out of the way, figure out exactly how much you're spending on that. Add about $100 to $200 onto that for your play money for the month, and then the rest of the money you immediately put into a savings account. If you don't have a savings account, I highly recommend you open one. And then that's it. You do that every single month consistently, and you're going to start seeing that savings account build, and you could get savings account that give you interest, meaning if you don't touch the money, if you put it into the account, it continues to grow monthly. They'll add the bank or whatever you have, a credit union, they will add a certain percentage of whatever you have in there monthly into your bank account, so you'll basically get money for free just for keeping your money in the bank. Alright, enough about that. So, actually buying your own vehicle. You need to understand that buying a vehicle is a very, very drastic decision. It's not one of those things that, I want to buy a car just to show off to my friends. It's not one of those things where, I just want to be cool and have a car. Have a specific purpose in mind. Go for function over looks, meaning don't go buy a Challenger for $60,000 if you don't need a Challenger. There's no point in having 600, 700 horsepower, having a V8 if all you're gonna do is take yourself from school, to the gym, from the gym, things like that. You know what I mean? Essentially, don't buy something that you know you're not gonna need just because it's cool. Don't go for the biggest engine, don't go for the biggest car, don't go for the fanciest car. Don't buy something you're not gonna need. That's a tendency for a lot of people. They'll go in and they'll buy something that is completely souped up with no real purpose behind it. You know, guys drive around, and this is a military thing. Guys will come in with a fully loaded truck or a souped up Camaro or Mustang, Army, and you don't have a purpose for it. You have a V8 with 400, 500 horsepower, and the only thing that you do is drive it on the street. You never take it to the track. You never actually have a use to have all that power, meaning you just bought it to show off because you could. When you go to buy a car, make sure you know everything about the car that you're going to buy. Do your research. If you want a truck, look up the truck that you want or the general family of trucks that you want. Look it up, do your research. Understand how to do basic maintenance, understand what to look for, understand, if something goes wrong, you have a basic idea of how to fix it. That way you're not constantly trying to fix things if you're buying a used vehicle. When you go to actually buy the vehicle, there's two things you need to know. The first thing is you need to know how to inspect the car. You don't have to be perfectly versed in all of this. It's very, very simple. You need to know basics. Look at the body, make sure there's no dings, dents, scratches. If there are, make sure you write them down. Go in with a notepad, write them down. There's a scratch on the tail end, there's a scratch on the front hood, whatever you have. Look at the tires, make sure the tires are in good condition, especially if you're gonna buy it in the winter months where weather gets bad and there's ice on the road. You need good tires to drive around. Look at the brakes, make sure there's no rust on them, no wear, nothing peculiar about them. Ask for a record. So a lot of cars now, they'll have Carfax or something of that sort where they'll give you an accident history and everything like that. If you notice even the slightest accident, so for my truck there was something on there that was listed as an accident. So I immediately called up the insurance company that took care of it. I gave them the VIN number and they were able to tell me exactly what that circumstance was. Come to find out that all it was somebody clipped one of the windshield wipers, and it was classified as an accident because of the insurance company. So do your research on the car that you're going to get. Once you get the Carfax, figure out if there's anything. And now the biggest thing with that is body damage. So if you have any frame damage or anything like that where it was in a substantial collision, avoid that vehicle. Or if you're not going to avoid it, make sure that it is fully fixed. Look at the frame, look at things like that. And if you don't know how to do that, get somebody that does know how to do it so the dealer doesn't just try to swindle you out of money. The next thing that you need to do is know how to negotiate. So oftentimes dealerships will mark up their sticker price based on the quotas that they have to reach, right? And then as soon as you start talking to them, they will immediately start saying, well, this is what we could do for you, but this is the lowest we can go and whatever. So to give you an example, my truck was worth $25,000. That was a sticker price on it. After I inspected it and drove it, I pointed out a list of issues and I told them that I was going to be doing a monthly payment plan. Now, the way that works is if you're doing a monthly payment plan with a bank through the dealership, whatever dealership it is, the interest that you're paying on that is where the dealership makes their money, right? They don't make money if you pay it off in full because they don't get the interest off of it. So if you're making monthly payments, they're definitely going to lower the price a little bit. Also know that the first person to say a price loses in any negotiation. If you're negotiating with a dealer and you're the first one to say, well, this truck is worth $25,000, I'm willing to pay $23,000. The dealer might have been willing to go down to $21,000, but because you said $23,000, he's not going to go down lower than that. So make sure you are not the first person blurting out prices just because you see a car that you like. Again, so what I did was I came in and I told him I was going to be doing a monthly payment plan. I was able to lower the price of the truck down from $25,000 to basically $22,500, something like that, something in that area. And as soon as he signed the papers, as soon as we agreed on the price, he's like, okay, so how are we going to be financing this? And I'm like, I'm just going to pay it off right here, right now. Because I was able to save up that money. I was able to have it in the bank and I knew exactly what I wanted. And he's like, well, we're going to need proof. And I showed him my bank account, my bank statements, everything was valid. And he's like, all right, I'll sign the papers. And of course he was mad because they lost a lot of money and they weren't able to meet their quota. Now, the last thing you need to know is that once you buy the car, you're not done paying for it. Depending on what state you live in and depending on where you are, you're also going to have to pay for tags, which is going to include taxes, transfer fees, title transfer fees, everything like that. So to give you an example, for a $23,000 truck like I paid for, I basically had to add on another $2,000 onto that in taxes and title transfer fees, in insurance, everything that I had to pay. So make sure that when you're looking for a vehicle, you're not just taking the price of the vehicle at its base value. Meaning, once you buy that car, there's also a myriad of prices that you're going to have to consider, like insurance, like taxes, things like that you're going to have to pay that are going to make that a little bit more expensive than you thought it would be. So make sure you go in and you calculate all of that before you try to buy a vehicle. If for whatever reason you have a vehicle and you have to make monthly plans, make sure you go through a bank that you trust that's going to give you a decent interest rate. I would say no more than 4 or 5%. Depending on your credit score. If your credit score is screwed, then I don't know what to tell you. But if you have a decent credit score, 4 or 5% is the max that you should try to get. I've seen guys come into a dealership and come out with a 11%, 13%, 19% interest rate. You don't understand how much of a difference that actually makes. For a $30,000 truck, 19% interest is a lot of extra money that you're paying over the course of the time. Keep in mind, if you are going to loan a vehicle out, you also have to have full coverage insurance. Liability insurance, they won't let you have that if you have a vehicle that you're leasing or loaning, because it is not yours. You are essentially renting it until you fully pay it off. Also keep in mind that if you are taking a loan out on a vehicle, you take that vehicle, if you crash it as soon as you drive off the lot, it is still your responsibility. You still have to pay that vehicle off fully, even if you can't drive it anymore. So keep that in mind. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you're going to buy a vehicle or a major financial decision like that, something that costs a substantial amount of money, make sure you know everything involved in it. If you're going to go buy a car, make sure you know everything there is to know, or as much as you can know about that car. You don't have to be a mechanic to understand when a car is good and a car is bad. Obviously, go for a low mileage car, something you can afford, something that is going to be practical and useful to you. Don't buy something just to show off. Understand how credit works, understand how dealerships work, and understand how to negotiate. If you don't know how to do that, bring somebody with you. There's no law that says you can't bring your mother, your friend, your dad, whoever is, if you know somebody that's really good at negotiating, bring them with you so they can talk the price down for you. That's pretty much it, guys. Once you get that taken care of, once you start saving up money, you can make that kind of decision, plan ahead for it, and plan big picture. So I hope this information helped you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. If you guys want a heads up about anything else that I'm doing, check out my Instagram page at NotSoSuperman. And as always, guys, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't, tell a friend.